Howdy, gang. Thank you for coming to this site, drshawnhubbard.com. This particular section I'd like to dedicate to the gentleman that trained me back in the day, Dr. Robert Schwartzman. Dr. Schwartzman was our residency director at Hahnemann University Hospital, and I started there in 1998. Dr. Schwartzman would start morning report every day at about 8 o'clock. No, not at about, but at 8 o'clock. And he'd say, all right, who was working? I just need an age and chief complaint. Age and chief complaint. Just tell me the patient's age and chief complaint. With the patient's chief complaint, their chief concern, the thing that, in their words, got them into the hospital, what Dr. Schwartzman was teaching us was how to understand what part of the nervous system was involved, what part of the neuraxis was involved, and exactly how it was involved, what mechanism was going on. So to answer the first question, I'd like to talk to you about the neuraxis of the nervous system. The neuraxis of the nervous system, if we go from, let's say, an outside to inside or top to down, would start with the brain's cortex, the cortex being the outer part of the brain, a part that you would see if you looked at a picture of the brain. There are four cortices, four parts of the cortex. One is in the frontal, and then another would be the temporal, and then the parietal and occipital cortices. So that's the outer part of the brain itself. Just beneath that, what you can find is the subcortex, believe it or not. In the subcortex, what you can find are parts of the brain that have a lot to do with smooth movements. So if you have a problem with the subcortex, what you might have are tremors and things of that nature. You might have some rigidity in your muscle movements. So that's the subcortex. And then just beneath that, what you have is the brainstem. And if you have problems with the brainstem, you might have double vision or difficulty with chewing or swallowing. Now, the next level would be like the cerebellum. Cerebellum helps you to be able to do things that are rapid and alternating, like clap your hands or something like that. And then the next level would be the spinal cord. The spinal cord connects the brain, if you will, to the arms and legs, and it's also a part of the central nervous system. Now, doctors are concerned, and nurses, that you have a spinal cord problem if you have bowel and bladder control issues. Okay, so that's the spinal cord. The next level of the neuraxis would be the peripheral nerves. The peripheral nerves come out of the spinal cord and go into the extremities. Now, higher up we call them cranial nerves, but lower into the neuraxis we call them peripheral nerves. So they go into the arm and into the legs, the peripheral nerves. The next level of the neuraxis is the neuromuscular junction. And neuromuscular junction problems, they will generally result in, say, double vision, or sometimes a lid droop, sometimes problems chewing or swallowing, and they can sometimes fluctuate. So that's the neuromuscular junction. And then finally, there's the muscle. That's the endpoint of the neuraxis. When you have muscle problems, you tend to have weakness in more proximal musculature. So people tend to have difficulty, let's say, combing their hair, reaching up on a high shelf, or even getting off of a couch or out of a car. Okay, so that would be like a myopathy, a muscle problem. So that's the neuraxis in a shell. But that's what Dr. Schwartzman was trying to get at. That's the first question. What part of the nervous system is involved? What part of the neuraxis is involved?